Found him.
What is going on, everybody? We are back here together. The game chat, the real game chat, Crispy, Elite, and the Brunner. And this is a long-awaited. I think we marinated this wine pretty good. Our, what was it, 2022, 2023 season prediction video that we recorded pre-week 1 of last year. So this is before, we knew anything happened, before the Eagles' greatest collapse and the greatest run. Only one season. So it's before any of that. I just want that on record. I don't remember half of it. I just know I predicted the Eagles would go back to the Super Bowl. So that's the one I'm cringing on. But let's just get straight into it. Do you guys remember any of yours? I know Elite predicted the Ravens one, right? Was Elite the one that predicted the Ravens?
I don't think I said the Ravens.
No, I think you said like Ravens would win the North.
Every year. But also, good to have everybody back. We've missed you. Also, thank you, everybody, for the last video we did. It blew up.
Yeah, for real. The last video, we got 500 views. So thank you. And you know what? Not that much hate for our tier list. So that's... We're coming along, and not that much hate. But that's good. 500 views in one of our videos. That's a great start. So yeah, thank you for that. Let's just get into it, bro. What are you going to say,
Well,
bro?
I was going to say, let's get into it of what happened last year before we get into our predictions. I want to start with the NFL awards, and we're going to see if they're justified or not. So quickly, Cameron Hayward won Walter Payton Man of the Year, which is fine. I'm sure he did a lot for Pittsburgh.
I'm sure he did a lot.
Honestly, that's one we never could pick because I honestly don't know. I don't live in the community for all 32 teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
also, quickly want to say this. I think if you win Walter Payton Man of the Year and then go to a new team, you can't have the patch anymore.
This guy.
Because J. Watt had the patch because he got it for Houston and then went to Arizona. He was still wearing it. I'm like, that's for Houston, not Arizona. Take it off.
That's the most randomest rant, Brunner, is that your Walter patch.
I'm just saying. Like, I think somebody else did it too, and I'm like, why are you wearing it? Anyway, let's start with NFL.
I didn't know this. Did you know this? Speaking of, sorry to cut you off, it's the Walter Payton Award. Jack was telling me that if you're nominated, you get a certain color one, but if you win it, you get the gold one.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a black one or like a shadowed out one if you were nominated. So what happens if somebody gets like multiple nominations? Do they just like fill their shirt up with shit? What?
Yeah, I think that happens to Lane Johnson, but he didn't win. So that's a good question. Shout out Jack though. Shout out Wally. So let's go and take a look. This one, oh my god, I just want to say something. I think you can't even argue. Maybe I wasn't watching film, but didn't Lamar Jackson have an MVP season?
No.
Yeah, I would say yes, but why he kind of didn't deserve it is because of the hype up and the build and the memes of Save Us Lamar from Taylor Swift Super Bowl, and he failed us.
Yeah,
we got Nick.
So, and he failed. My biggest bitch about the MVP is this. And it's last time I'm going to say it. I've been ranting to everybody I've talked to since this happened, and I got to put it to bed at some point. Is call it what it is. Just start calling it the best quarterback or some bullshit. That's not the most valuable player. The most valuable player by far was C-Mac. He had 1,000-yard season. He had 2,000 all-purpose yards.
Yep.
Okay, so that's the second time he's done that. So that's one thing to be said. And two is Lamar Jackson didn't lead in the quarterback category in any category.
That's great. Yeah,
Josh Allen had more touchdowns and more yards than him, and a higher quarterback percentage. But Lamar, and everybody's like, "Oh, hands down, Lamar." I don't see the hands down part of it. And I watch a lot of AFC North games. To me, he's not the guy.
He got swept. Yeah.
Did you get YouTube the fucking Sunday
ticket? Of course I did.
Yeah. I did too. Of course also, I did. I first year I ever owned Sunday ticket, and my team goes 4-15, 4-12. So that was fun.
Dude, I watched. So the great thing about YouTube is I had an iPad, my laptop, and the TV. I'm watching like 6 games at a time because you could do the multi-view. So I'm watching like 6 games at a time. It's like Red Zone on steroids.
Yeah.
But I'm getting to see everything. So it was well worth it, in my opinion. Yeah, and the cool thing, did you know that you could just go to YouTube as long as you have YouTube TV, you can go to regular YouTube on Sunday and watch it on YouTube too.
No, I didn't know. I would say it's worth it. It's good to see. Oh, Anthony had a story. What was it? I looked at the Sunday ticket. Or what was it? I looked at Peacock. I'm very excited.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, so I can't say it because fucking HR reasons, but I work at a certain place, right? And some people, you get these, diehard old NFL fans who are trying to watch Thursday Night Football, and it's only on Prime, and they're calling in. They're like, "Oh, give me Prime channel. Like, what channel's Prime?" And you gotta explain to them what the hell Amazon Prime is or what the hell Peacock is. And they're like, "Okay," and you explain to them. I'm not even kidding you. I explained to this guy what Peacock was for 10 minutes, and in the end, he's like, "Okay, so what channel was it?" And I'm like, "Bro, it's not a channel. Like, it's like Netflix."
NBC.
Like, dude, like I'm face pumped. I don't know what it was. I think it was one of the playoff games. I think it was like the Chiefs and the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Where it was only on Peacock. It was stupid as fuck, and everyone was fucking calling, "What channel's Peacock?" And I was like, "It's a streaming service."
Didn't one of the games also have like only on Nickelodeon?
Yep.
Oh, I thought they
were on Nickelodeon as well. I know I watched the Super Bowl in my house party. We watched it in Nickelodeon because we were like, "Fuck Tony Romo. I'm not gonna get my homie fucking Tony Romo here saying that every like 2 seconds." So,
all right.
Damn.
So the funny story. We're moving on. NFL Comeback Player of the Year was voted Joe Flacco. I'm going to say
bullshit.
We all know.
Yeah, I agree with Lee. I think it should have been Baker Mayfield. Because he's been.
I don't even think. I don't even think Baker.
He was cast out of Cleveland, gets them a playoff win. Then he goes to Panthers, but the Panthers think Baker's a problem, and then he gets sent out of there, and then plays for the Rams for like 48 hours, and then he gets a deal with Tampa, and then he wins the division, beats the former reigning NFC champions, and then now he's got a pay cut. I mean not pay cut, a payout. I think Joe Flacco. I mean, what did he come back from? Being on the couch, driving his kids.
Even the article in USA Today says what I'm about to say right there. The fucking DeMar Hamlin one.
Yeah,
exactly. That's the guy. Dude, the guy literally fucking died on a field. He died. And he came back and played. That's comeback player of the goddamn year, man. The guy's like Jesus. He came back. You know what I'm saying?
Now that the Bills cut their whole secondary, so you are now my newly employee is the one.
It's like, I mean, but I could make an argument for Baker, absolutely. But like I said years ago, if we can go back and check the tape, Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's almost the person we want to use as the example. How many people have been drafted by the Browns when they had shitty teams and it made quarterbacks just look shitty? You know what I'm saying? Number 1 overall pick goes to the worst team usually. And they need more than one player to become a good team. And I think what we saw is when you put Baker on a good team, he actually could do some stuff. Now, do I think he's a top 10? I don't know. Is he elite? I don't know. We'll see. Give him a couple more years with maybe a decent line and stuff.
Definitely. And like you mentioned, how many Cleveland quarterbacks do you see come in to turn the division around? And then let's face it, when Brady left Tampa, everybody was like, "Fuck Tampa," and they're back to the stinks. And he came back and what was supposed to be the Saints and Panthers division turned into and Falcons division became the Bucks division once again.
Sure as hell ain't the Panthers division.
For real. And then he lost to the Eagles week 2 and then beat the Eagles in the playoffs at Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then almost made it to the NFC Championship, in Detroit. So I could agree with you there. DeMar Hamlin straight up died. I thought that was hilarious. But I was
Yeah.
one of them that was like, DeMar Hamlin stats, just you can't just die and come back, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, the stats matter.
Well, you
Flacco
see people,
for Flacco people. Come on now, right?
but it's crazy because like a few years ago, what was it? Who was it? Who was the guy that played for Washington that like broke his leg, ended up almost losing his leg?
Smith.
Yeah, and he came back and played like 5 plays the next year. He was comeback player of the year, and it was like, this dude died.
Yeah, I agree on that. Yeah.
He's like,
I forgot about that. Now, this is the person. The next one right here is like Mina Leeds, true MVP.
Yeah, he was the MVP of the league. In my opinion.
Till this day.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was either him or Tyreek, like this article said.
Yeah, exactly.
MVP.
And so I think that was the MVP.
Yeah.
But I think what's happened is the offensive player of the year has turned into the best offensive, like the true MVP, where the MVP award has become a goddamn
the quarterback award, yeah.
And it's kind of crazy as McCaffrey's been up for an MVP twice. Once with the Panthers, he had that amazing season, got beat out by Michael Thomas and his slants, who won an MVP, and all he ever does is run slants. And then that guy got cut this year, and McCaffrey's coming back in that talk. And I don't know. We'll see.
I agree. Yeah. That one, it's pretty given. This one,
NFL coach.
I disagree. Disagree.
Right.
I agree. Disagree.
I disagree.
What do you think it should have been?
I think it should have been Mike.
I think it should have been the Detroit Lions coach.
I agree.
I can't side with him because of my fucking theory. Remember my fucking.
Well, you hate that guy anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put the clock up of time till Dan Campbell's fired for Anthony, and then mine's Sean McVay.
Bruce Sean McVay clip theory. The next year you want a Super Bowl. That's the crazy at the Roberts.
So I mean, that's the guy. That's the guy. The Detroit Lions coach to me. I mean, the Lions haven't won a playoff game since 1990, and he took them to a playoff win.
JFK was around when the last time the Lions won a playoff game, and then I saw people, Brownie fans, arguing. They're like,
JFK was not around in 1990. Let's just state that JFK was not around
when they won. Last time they went to a game.
They won a playoff game with Barry Sanders against the Cowboys in 1990.
Anyway,
check the tape.
But anyway, so I saw Brownie fans arguing that. Oh, I think it was last time they went to NFC Championship was JFK.
Yes, that's probably sounds right.
Right. So Brownie fans were saying, they're like, oh well, Kevin Stefanski did so much, losing to Sean, and he had PJ and Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and then Joe Flacco, and he still made it to the playoffs. Number one, why should the coach of the year go to the man who didn't win his own division? 2, it's their fault. It's their own fault that they got rid of Baker, who won them a playoff game, and then signed a man with multiple sexual accusations.
Oh.
And then now he's injury prone. You created your own problem. It should have went to Dan Campbell, like you said, did something like literally shook the Detroit curse for a couple games, or it should have went to D'Amico, who literally came in and changed the Texans around, because they had the highest odds of getting like the 3rd or 2nd overall pick coming into this year, because they weren't picked to be good.
What did Texans have last year? So not 2023, but in 2022, didn't they only have like 2 wins?
Yeah, only 2 wins to shell out the number 2. Because I remember they purposely won, and everyone's like, why would they take the number 2 pick? And then they ended up getting C.J. Stroud, and then they traded for the 3rd pick with that badass draft. That ended up winning. So they tanked last year on purpose. 13.
So he took a 4-13 team to the playoffs.
And he won. He took him to the divisional too, not just.
So he took a 4-13 team deep in the playoffs.
I'm sorry, 3-13. Yeah. Because last
year, that's even worse.
Yeah. The year before they went 4-13, and then when they got CJ, they were 3-13.
Because let's be real, Deshaun Watson hasn't been Deshaun Watson, Houston Deshaun Watson, since he's been in Cleveland. So they just basically grossly overpaid for that guy. Okay, that guy's a fucking bum.
Yeah.
So that's the reality of it. Now I could see like Nick Chubb. Oh, Nick Chubb had a season-ending injury. Okay, but you also had a 1A backup to him. You were splitting time. It wasn't like Nick Chubb was the primary. You know what I'm saying? You were every other play had a 1A, like you were doing a rotation, and you had what's his name? Kareem Hunt. Okay, he's as good as Nick Chubb. You know, it's not like it's a bum. So I mean, their argument's kind of weird, but they're just kind of showing love to Cleveland. Period. I don't know. They're trying to give them roses for something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if it were to go to an AFC North coach, they would probably be Harbaugh, and then Tomlin, and then Stefanski. But I don't understand why he won this award.
Dude, I'll tell you in all honesty, they just need to give Tomlin like an award for like the greatest winning percentage ever in the history of a coach. That's all he should get, because the dude, he's a perennial 500 guy now. What the hell? It's horrible.
NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year, Will Anderson Jr. I saw
absolutely.
I saw for a long time it was going to be Anthony's boy. We're going to talk about that later on the video. The murder suspect,
Jalen
Carter, but he missed like week 13. So they said that's what damaged him. But like he was supposed to get this award. But I mean, Will Anderson Jr. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of tape of him, but I mean, I'm not going to argue with it.
I think from beginning from bell to bell, that kid was consistent all year.
Yeah, I agree. He's going to be a future defensive player of the year.
Kind of reminds me of a Minka Parsons type player. Like the year Minka came in as that rookie, won defensive rookie of the year. And now you look every year, Minka Parsons in the talk of like being defensive player of the year. I mean, I think that's where Will Anderson's going to fall. Yeah. He's like, you know what I'm saying? And then if Homeboy can beat the rap, I mean, he'll be there too. But we'll see.
This next one, honestly, we could just go to that one because that one's pretty decisive, the rookie of the year. But this next one is pretty special. This was known as a fucking, at this point, what's his face? Fucking Aaron.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, Myles Garrett was not the defensive player of the year, my opinion.
No, I think even Micah Parsons had a better year than him.
I think it was TJ Watt.
Yeah, it was TJ. I thought it was going to be
TJ Watt led.
Oh, go ahead.
He led the league in sacks.
Yeah.
Again, this guy's led the league in. He's been burnt on this award. He's won it once, and he's been burnt like 3 different times. And I feel like they're sick and tired of giving it to Watts because his brother got so many. But I think Micah Parsons was better than Myles. I think Myles is good. Do not get me wrong. It just was like, dude, what? It just, yeah.
I feel like he was injured at one point.
I think he missed like a game or two, but he still led the league in sacks.
No.
But yeah, Garrett edged out Pittsburgh Steelers outside linebacker 20 for Defense Player of the Year, TJ Watt, who led the league with 19 sacks. And then,
I thought you said Myles had most sacks.
Like Deron Bland, like went off with the Cowboys, like led the league in interceptions, which was insane. Because like again, when you think of like cornerbacks for Dallas, you think of Diggs, even though he's like just decent. But like again, Deron Bland went off. I thought it was gonna be Khalil Mack for a while, because like up until like week 12, he was leading the league in sacks, and then TJ Watt just like had a monster finish, and then Khalil Mack had that game where he had like 5.5 sacks against the Raiders in one game. But yeah, I think it should win.
Yeah, that's probably a record. I think. I wonder what the most sacks in one game is.
I think he tied it. Like he's number 3 now, tied for first and third spot.
Just imagine getting sacked 5 times.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, why would you cut this man? Because we're now, as a Chargers fan, it's like 2 hours till doomsday over here to see who we're going to cut.
Probably because probably monetarily. It's a monetary thing. It's one of the things that he deserves the money he gets. 2 hours. And that's, it sucks. Which just sucks because this year, I heard the salary cap went up massive this year too. So I don't know.
We'll talk about later how like just terrible these NFL teams are now, because Denver's willing to take a $80 million cap hit rather than just stick it out with Russ one more time. Like not even like let's give it to week 8. No, they're like, no, we'll take an $80 million dead cap hit.
Yeah, but I think they do it over 2 years. Okay, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
that's a no-brainer.
No-brainer. All the homies love Stroud. I mean, this kid, how can you not love this kid?
It's a no-brainer.
The definition of Houston, like,
and what's
great, yeah, quarterback.
I just want to go on the record and say, if we go back to the tape about drafts, my son Jack said Panthers should take C.J. Stroud. The two people he wanted was either AR-15 or C.J. Stroud. He did not want the kid from Alabama.
I remember
just
that.
Want to point that out.
Like, I do remember that. Yeah, I actually do remember that.
Yeah, but definitely rookie of the year. Definitely belonged to CJ. Taking again, a franchise that was in the gutter. I mean, Anthony talked about it last year. Well, not last year, last episode. How Texans, like when we were talking about their jerseys, like all we see is J.J. Watt leading a poverty franchise, Brock Osweiler, fucking Paxton Lynch, Davis Mills team. And then now CJ is coming, and they should get new uniforms for CJ. I definitely could have also seen Puka Nacua hitting this because he had a 1,000-yard rookie year.
It's crazy. You think about like the Texans franchise when they first started off. They had 2 amazing players. So you had the receiver from Miami, the University of Miami, and then they had the running back. The running back was the kid who played the role of the running back in the draft. I can't remember his name right now. And then you had that big receiver. And they were like a good team. Then all of a sudden they fell off the rails. Like, remember J.J. Watt's like first 3 years? They were like contenders.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they get back there and they can become the Texas team. Fuck the Cowboys.
Right. Fuck the Cowboys.
All right. So now let's go into like recap of what happened of the NFL season. So we first of all, nobody predicted this. Aaron Rodgers playing like 4 seconds and then having a season injury. And then almost coming back, almost walking on water at this point, just for the Jets to choke. And then we have the Josh Dobbs 3-game insanity run with the Vikings. How everyone's like, oh, Dobbs comeback player of the year, you know, like nobody expected this. And then they just fell apart after Kirk got hurt. And then also insanity run for Tommy DeVito, Anthony's biggest nightmare.
Dude, the guy was getting the mob was paying people off just so you could say his name, Tommy DeVito.
Also, insanity run for Joe Flacco. How we were like, oh, he's gonna have a Cinderella Man type year. He's gonna take the Browns to the Super Bowl, and no, fucking CJ torched him. Said future's now, old man.
Good. I'm glad. No one also predicted that. I don't think anybody wanted this to happen either. Is that the fucking Chiefs were gonna repeat it? So fuck us.
And Taylor Swift coming out of nowhere, just appearing. Like, this is my argument. I'm just gonna say this one time publicly. I don't mind them showing her if Travis scores a touchdown because
yeah.
But I was watching the Charger game, right? Isaiah Pacheco, walks in touchdown. And then they cut to Taylor Swift. I'm like, she doesn't know Isaiah Pacheco. She's never met Isaiah Pacheco. Why are you showing her? Show Isaiah Pacheco's family.
There was a pass where he made where Patrick Mahomes went to one of the receivers. I don't even remember who it was. I think it was the dude with 3 names, like Galarius Pope, whatever, blah, blah, you know what I'm saying? And they show her. And I'm like, I'm watching it with Jack, and I'm like, why didn't they show Brittany Mahomes?
Yeah.
Also, one thing real quick, I actually do want to say is, when we're recording this, it's really like 13th of March of 2024, so we don't know the fully like free agency signing, but I've been seeing a lot of like backlash. Went out and started getting all these good players after Kelsey left. Saquon to be more exact. We got Saquon. A lot of people were like, "Oh, you got him not too late." And then I saw an interview that Kelsey was like, "Oh, like how he's making all these moves right after I retired." And then I'm like kind of thinking, okay, dude, like I love you. You know, you're a great player, but we don't have to go to you to get new players just so you could approve them. Like you're fucking retired. That was your decision. Like, I love Kelsey, but his wife made him retire. The rumor on Philadelphia was he was either going to play one more year or we were going to let him walk to KC and he's going to play one more year with his brother. So that was the rumor on the street, but his wife said, no, you're going to retire. And then the next day he retired. So it's like, you can't even tell us what to do when you made that decision. So I just wanted to get that out there.
Well, it's interesting because I also feel the same way. Speaking about Saquon Barkley, that man's catching a lot of hell right now from people like Tiki Barber and all these people. The fact of the matter is, the Giants weren't going to re-sign him.
No. And Saquon said, I want to stay in New York. I will make it happen. They didn't even offer him a contract.
Yeah, and they paid Daniel Jones first before paying Saquon, when Saquon should have been first. And then
when Saquon's the one that had made Daniel Jones have that season. And so Tiki Barber's like, oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. Don't let the door hit you on the ass and all this shit, talking about how he's not a real Giant. And like I heard it best, Joy Taylor said it. This is professional sports. You're going to go to whoever's going to pay you.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't necessarily have loyalty. It's nice to have loyalty to a team. Okay. It's really nice to have a career like Jason Kelsey or, you know, some of these people. But even a Tom Brady leaves. Because you know what? New England probably wasn't paying Tom another couple years to stick around. They thought they were ready to move on. And so to judge people, I hope Saquon Barkley has an amazing season. I hope Saquon Barkley runs a fucking million miles, takes 1,000,000 yards in rushing against the New York Giants.
Imagine?
Tiki Barber, awesome. You should thank your defensive team for getting you a Super Bowl ring. You were a fucking mediocre running back at best. For you to talk all that shit is amazing.
Yeah. And then
sorry, just had to go on that rant.
Pointedly, I agree about, you know, not paying them. It's just that same thing would happen with Kirk Cousins, because I was watching McAfee and he had Mike Garafolo on, and then he's like, you know, this thing with Kirk, you know, with the Vikings, it's playing out for too long, and then Atlanta's going to come and offer Kirk a contract, and then Minnesota's like, oh well, you know, we'll match that offer, and it's like, well, why did you take so long, you know, to offer me this when Atlanta was, you know, ready to make that offer? They quickly made that offer. They knew what they wanted. So
exactly, and you're going to want to go where you want to go, where somebody's going to be giving you the love and the flowers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, is what it is. But
and then
I just felt like I had to say that.
And then to add on to that point, because I've been watching a lot of Shannon Sharp, and now I'm a little bit pro NFL player, because we just saw what happened with Aaron Jones, where Aaron Jones literally took a pay cut. And then everyone's thinking, oh, like they got Josh Jacobs now. He's going to, you know, that 20 minutes of Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones being in the same backfield, when literally Green Bay cut Aaron Jones. And then every Packer is like, oh, you know, he was the heart and soul of the team. When this is your problem when you don't have an owner. Because I just saw the Eagles extended they gave Brandon Graham one more year, where if, like, let's just say like Brandon Graham or Fletcher Cox were on the Packers, they would have been cut like 4 years ago.
Yeah,
that's Jeffrey Lurie, who loves Brandon Graham. That's why he tells Howie, hey, if he wants to come back, you know, give him a year.
Well, you think about it. You think about like the Pack. We'll use the Packers for example. I mean, there's legends of the game that they let walk. Clay Matthews.
Jordan.
I mean, people that were just like, holy Jesus, blue-eyed Jesus. Yeah. I mean, they let people just walk. And it was like, you got to be kidding me. And it's because they don't have that loyalty. And you bring up a great point is, how was Aaron Jones rewarded for taking a pay cut and helping out with their cap space? Oh, he's cut because they think they can do better. So if I'm a player, I'm not loyal to any team. It's the best. Like, I think it was Shannon Sharp that actually said, the last time when you were loyal to a team is when you played high school. Because once after that, college, professional, it becomes a business. Okay, you're drafted or recruited. You don't get to pick where you want to go until free agency comes along. You know what I'm saying? And that's, depending on the sport, could be anywhere from free agency in baseball is 8 years before you get your first crack at to say, I want to go wherever I want to go. 8 years is a long goddamn time. Football, I think it's 3 or 4 years, depending on what you sign. But
yeah, I think this is Saquon's 5th year. This is going to be his 6th year, I think.
Right. He signed last year with an extension, a franchise tag, if I remember right, or something.
Yeah, because
I think it was 4 or 5.
Yeah, he's made it well known that he loves New York. He wants to stay in New York. He's told the team in media, I hope they resign me. I'll take a cut. Like, I love the city. And New York said, fuck you. We're going with somebody else. So I kind of, like Elite said, I don't get this hate. I'm seeing like burning jerseys of Saquon, and that's fine. You can fucking do that shit. I mean, we'll gladly take his ass. He'll rush 2,000 yards this fucking season. Watch.
Yeah, and it's not like LeBron James when he left Cleveland. He made a choice to leave.
Really learned about that. Yeah.
Okay, they were going to re-sign him. So what is he not supposed to go to work because New York doesn't want him? Oh, well, I guess I don't work anymore. And I hope he ends up having a season. The example I want to use is I want to throw DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray came to the Eagles the year after he got cut from the Cowboys, and he signed, and he ended up having a 1,800-yard season.
He had an okay season. He just didn't do as good as he did with the Cowboys. It was marked as a failure, but
I don't know.
He's not Saquon.
You have
and
a better
DeMarco
line.
Were,
you have a better line now.
Yeah, we have a better line, and you got to keep in mind, Josh said it best. Shout out Josh. Is we had Chip Kelly at that time.
Yeah.
So that fucking excuses everything. That just excuses everything. But I'm excited. We'll take Saquon. I know Josh is already going to get his black Saquon jersey, so we'll show that on the podcast. But let's get these predictions going before we.
Well, yeah, let's. Hey guys, Future Brunner here. We forgot to mention how this is going to go down. We will play clips of the video that we posted a year ago when we made these predictions. For the audio listeners, we'll play this sound when we play the clips, and this sound for when we're back to the future reacting to this. And also, we will get points if we guess the correct placement of where the teams finish, and whoever has the most points wins. Now, back to the video.
Going before we.
Well, yeah, let's quickly run down through. I wrote something down. Draft recap. Anthony wanted Paris Campbell and Bijan Robinson.
I wanted Robinson, running back Robinson, right? We lost Paris. He went to the Cardinals. We lost Robinson. Those are the only two I wanted going in. I think I told you guys those were who I want.
And then now you guys got Saquon, so you still had running back issues because DeAndre Swift went to the Bears, and then because everybody's saying like, why were you get Bijan when why were you get Bijan when we just got DeAndre Swift? Well, DeAndre Swift's gone for 1 year, so that still kind of holds up. I predicted. Well, I wanted Addison. For a long time. I predicted his success. Personally, I wanted Jordan Addison. I've been following USC and Caleb Williams' Heisman run, so I'm like, oh, let's get the guy who helped, win Caleb Williams a Heisman. For a long time, I predicted his success, which he did. Jordan Addison had success on the Vikings, and Justin Jefferson missed half of the season, so he was able to have success without Justin Jefferson. Because if you look back at Juju's year, the reason why he had a good rookie year was because everybody was double teaming Antonio Brown.
Exactly.
But now Addison was I think he was like number 2 or number 1 wide receiver, and he still had success. He was like, I think he finished off with like 800 receiving yards, and he didn't have a fucking quarterback either. So and then I also wrote, Packers, they traded up to get Lucas Van Ness from the Jets pick, and I also predicted his mediocre season. Lucas Van Ness, the first round pick for the Packers, only had 5 sacks this season, and he finished with the 65 overall grade on PFT. I was optimistic about Quinn Johnston, but he's ass. I kind of want to trade him to the Bears, swap picks.
He's ass, he says.
He is ass, dude. He is. He's terrible.
I'm going to throw up that picture of when the Chargers were playing the Packers, and then he just like fucking...
Herbert, there's the pump. Johnston can't pull it in. It hit him in the hands at the 35 of Green Bay.
And drops the ball.
But the meme of he retires his mom and it's his mom going back to work. You see that one?
Your ass.
Oh god.
Also, Elite predicted his successful draft. Joey Porter Jr. ended up becoming the Steelers' cornerback number 1. And then also Elite predicted that Anthony Richardson would have struggles in Indy, which he did, and then he would end up getting hurt.
We need to get 2 things. We only need 2 things, and I'll be happy. We need to shore up our offensive line, and we need to help out our secondary.
That quarter kid's gonna be stud, by the way.
I think Indianapolis made a mistake with Richardson. And the reason I say that is everybody said that he has like to grow into the position. They don't have anybody for him to sit behind. Like I know like as Carolina as my NFC team, I kind of wanted them to get Richardson because he could have sat behind Dalton and sat there for 2 years learning the game and the speed of the game. But Indianapolis doesn't have anybody in front of him. So he's going to be playing. Now, maybe they think it's going to be like Peyton Manning, where Peyton Manning got pummeled that first year.
Minshew are there, isn't he?
Yeah. Okay. Like I said, they don't have anybody there.
One of the MVP, baby. One of the Super Bowl MVPs.
So it's just kind of, I think that one I'll be interested to see how that works out. But that being said, I'm pretty happy with the pick Carolina did do with Bryce Young.
Yeah. Oh my god, we gotta do another draft prediction. That's funny as fuck. Lee got it all right.
AR-15. He was good for a minute.
Yeah,
he was good for like 2 games, like 2 games, and then he got some weird games after that.
And then he like blew his knee out.
Yeah,
I think it's a knee, which you never want to hear for a quarterback.
Breaking news: Chargers release Mike Williams.
Oh, wow, you called it.
You're all
Bruner's reaction. Oh my god, Bruner's reaction was the best. I'm so glad we're recording that.
I just want to say real quick, because I was sharing pictures of my Charger game when we just cut Eckler. I saw Mike Williams live, and I'm also sad because I'm glad I did get to see him live. And it's very sad because, again, he was there when we were in San Diego. God bless San Diego. He played with Phillip Rivers. And this is very sad. I mean, it was going to happen. He was also injury prone. But I knew Keenan, like, we could not cut Keenan because even though Keenan Allen is 31 years old, he was top 5. He was like literally underneath Tyreek Hill in reception.
Dude seems older than dirt, man. No,
yeah,
he's so old.
Like this 31-year-old is getting more open than Quentin Johnston, who was just coming off of playing in the national championship. Also, I want to bring that up. This year, like this is why I can't get into college football, and now know why people praise it so much. This is now 2 years in a row where the top 2 teams. The top 2 quarterbacks of the national championship are like going in the fucking 4th round and like 7th round. They're quarterbacks.
You know, the difference I think about college football is it's much more team oriented. So you still have on college football teams, you'll still have people that aren't even going to get drafted. Do you know what I'm saying? So you have very rarely do you ever get that separation where you have somebody who's like, well, we'll take it for example of Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck was money. Like, you knew that guy coming out was just going to be phenomenal. Stanford did shit. They didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then you look at Notre Dame. Notre Dame makes the playoffs, and I can tell you 4 guys that like, oh yeah, they're going to be great in the NFL, and they're fucking bozos. Brady Quinn is now doing a podcast just like us. So I mean, shit.
Bro, it was doing podcast.
You know what I'm saying? He played a national championship game.
So
that's why I think people like it.
Because they're like, okay, well, Michigan won. Okay, well, J.J. McCarthy is not being taken in the first round. I don't think he is. And then maybe Michael Penix, but he's not going. But they're not going top 5. And then last year, Georgia won Stenson Bennett, and he went like 5th round to the Rams. And then now he has like alcohol issues. Like, he's an alcoholic, and then like the Rams might cut him.
Mark my words. I'm going to say one thing about Michigan. I guarantee you within the next year to 2 years, what we're going to find out, it's going to end up being just like Pete Carroll at USC. They're going to get suspended for a whole bunch of shit.
I do.
Guarantee it.
That'd be kind of cool.
That's why Harbaugh jumped.
Yeah. And then Max Duggan, who played at TCU, who played against Georgia, he went like, we took him 7th round pick, and then he's been on and off the practice squad. So I'm just saying, like, because like I haven't seen Drake May, but I know like he like because North Carolina is not competitive, a competitive football team. But like they're like, oh yeah, Drake May is going to New England.
Drake May's okay.
Supposed to be really good. I didn't really watch him
again because like at least like Caleb Williams, he won the Heisman last year and he plays in the Pac-12, which is Pac-12. Anyway, onto it.
Next year they're Big Ten or SEC, right? USC. They're moving to one of those two.
We're going to Big Ten. Big 12, maybe. I have no idea.
Big 24 now.
Exactly. So we're doing. Also, want to point out, I made that graphic. This graphic, I learned Photoshop in like 10 seconds.
Wait, that Vikings one? 'Cause I was staring at it. That one we see right now?
Yeah, I made all.
Yeah, that looks really good.
That looks good.
So NFC North. Let's go, Anthony. Anthony predicted the Lions would take it.
Wild prediction. Here we go.
Yeah.
Lions win the NFC North. Right? Give me Lions first. And then give me the Vikings second, Bears third, Packers last.
I also picked the Bears to win the division. They just went and bought everything in free agency. I think the Lions are going to be number 2 because they had a lot of momentum and they were starting to put stuff together at the end of last season. And they're coming off their first playoff appearance in 200 years. So they're going to, I think, then the Vikings, because Kirk Cousins never strings together 2 seasons in a row. And then I agree, the Packers, I think, are going to be a very big disappointment.
Give it to the Bears. I have the Bears taking the NFC North. So I see the Bears taking it at 1. Then I'm going to give it to the Vikings at 2, followed by the Lions at 3, and then Packers going 3-14. He predicted predicted Lions would take it, followed by the Vikings, followed by the Bears, and then followed by the Packers.
Oh, you're off there.
Yeah, I was off there.
And you're off there because they end up Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears, right?
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah,
yeah.
Bro.
I know I was off because I think I took the Vikings to win it.
Elite, you took the Bears to win it.
The fucking Bears. Oh.
Yeah.
Did I at least have the Lions second?
Yes, you had the Lions second, followed by the Vikings.
Okay.
We all had the Packers in the last in their division, followed by the Vikings. And then I had the Bears, the Vikings, the Lions, the Packers.
You were at the Bears too, Brunner?
Yes. Because
dude, they had a great season the year before.
And then they just got DJ Moore.
Yeah, I thought,
I
thought they were gonna. Oh, that sucks ass. Oh, that sucks ass.
Ah, this one looks good. This one looks dope. Yeah.
All right, AFC East. Elite.
I think the Jets are going to win the division.
I wouldn't say upset.
And then the Dolphins are going to be second. Bills are going to be third. Patriots are going to be last.
Really, give me Jets. Bills second, still make the playoffs. Dolphins third, and Patriots last.
I think we all had the Jets to take it, but fucking
Yeah, because they Aaron Rodgers.
But MetLife Turf had other plans.
For real.
Turf Monster got him.
Elite said,
Dude, he's going to be vice president. You see that? He's going to run for vice president.
Well, I saw that.
Every year with that. Remember 2 years ago, they're like, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to leave the Packers to go host Jeopardy." Remember that?
It's like, Jesus Christ.
That one too.
It's like, yeah,
these guys everywhere.
He's leave his $20 million a year job that he loves doing to make nothing. Yeah, he's going to do that. Elite had the Jets taking the division, followed by the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Patriots. I think we all predicted the Patriots' downfall.
Yeah, we did.
Anthony had the Jets, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Patriots. And then I had Jets, Bills, the same thing as Anthony. Jets, Bills, Dolphins, Patriots.
Wow. I was off on that one.
That was off, yeah. That was a weird division, though.
It was a weird year. So shit.
That's a nice graphic too.
Please, I did not.
I also didn't put Baker. I remember
Carolina.
I didn't put Baker Mayfield on this thing because we all thought that
he's an BS.
Suck. So I put Mike Evans on there. I also put Desmond Kyle Pitts on there too because I'm like, who the fuck is a quarterback? I need Kia Ritter. So let's start off with Anthony. Anthony had the Falcons taking the division.
Give me Falcons, Panthers, Saints, Bucks. Literally how it has it right there.
Carolina Panthers to win. Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay. I think he might prove some people wrong. Then the Saints, and then I think the Falcons are going to be the last again.
So give me the Saints. Give me Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Bucks.
Ugh.
Oof. Followed by the Panthers.
Oh.
Then the Saints.
What?
And then the Buccaneers.
Wow.
So flip it, reverse it, go backwards.
Yeah. Say fuck you, Anthony. You got it wrong. That's crazy bad.
Oh.
I had Mr. Derek Carr of the Saints taking it.
Really?
Because I remember saying that Joey Bosa is not in Derek Carr's division, so he should do better. And then I had the Falcons taking it by the Panthers. And then the Bucks. They also said that Baker Mayfield was going to get blamed if they had issues.
I remember that.
And then Elite said the Panthers. He rode with Bryce Young, followed by the Bucks, Saints, and the Falcons.
They were close. Honestly, closer than us at this point. As soon as you said Bucks second, I was like, oh, you got closer than us.
Yeah.
We could have known for Bryce Young being that bad.
Well, dude, the guy can't even see over his friggin' offensive line. Kid's a midget.
Yeah.
Right. AFC South. I'm going to start. I said Jacksonville will take it, which they kind of technically did, but they fumbled it. Everybody has high praises for Trevor. All you got to do is beat the Titans. Win and you're in. And the Titans were less.
Hey, we're not talking technically here. Did they take it?
Who took it? I forgot who did.
Yeah, and then I also remember putting the fucking
Texans.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
So I'm going to have the Jags take the South, followed by the Titans, followed by the Colts, because the Colts still suck because Anthony Richardson has nobody to throw to. And the line is like sometimes the Colts don't know how to play offensive line. And then I'm going to have the Texans going last because they're going to tank for wide receiver. And it would be so funny if the Texans tank for wide receiver, and who's going to be eligible next year for the draft? Marvin Harrison Jr.
Jags first. Give me the Colts second. Texans third. Titans last.
I think I'm gonna take Jacksonville, and then I'm gonna take Tennessee. But I don't really even know who's gonna be playing there. Like I know there's like is Tannehill gonna be their guy or the guy they draft? Like I don't know who's playing quarterback at this point. And then I really have a hard time ever picking the Texans anywhere from the basement, so I had to go Colts Texans.
Jacksonville, and then I predicted Tennessee. Then I predicted Colts, and then Texans would be last.
I think I remember my prediction.
I think I did the same thing. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think I'm right there.
Anthony predicted Jacksonville would take the division, followed by Indy, followed by the Texans, and then the Titans, which he did get right, took last place. Elite predicted that Jacksonville would take it, followed by Tennessee, then the Colts, then the Texans.
I was totally out of that one.
Yeah.
Not even in the ballpark.
Again, which is why D'Amico should have won, because we all predicted that the Texans were not going to be good.
Shit, look, they do the Cardinals by committee. Apparently, they don't got 1 star. They just got a committee.
They're both holding up Calvary, holding him up like this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they get their holding of stable.
Yeah,
we got Jim Murray.
Stable, yeah.
Helping their college jerseys. Elite, we'll start with Elite. Elite said that San Francisco, he predicted right, San Francisco would take the division, followed by Seattle, which is true. Then LA. And then, did Seattle get second or did they get third?
San Francisco is going to win the division.
Yep.
Then I think Seattle is going to come in second. I think the Rams will be third. And I think the Cardinals will be dead last.
If Trey Lance goes down, good luck, you 49er fans. Give me the Seahawks. I'll take Seahawks first. San Francisco second. LA last. Cardinals third.
I have Seattle going first. I think they're going to win the division. I think the 49ers can somehow pull it off and be like the ace seed and like maybe upset the Seahawks. I actually have the Rams going last. I'm going to have the Cardinals third and the Rams going last. And
yes.
If you switch Seattle with LA, Elite would have been correct. Anthony predicted that Geno Smith would take the division, followed by San Fran. Sorry, Droopy. Then Arizona, and then LA. And then
sorry, Droopy.
Also Seattle. Yeah, same thing as Anthony. Seattle, San Francisco, Arizona, LA.
Don't bet against Brock Purdy, goddammit.
Bring up the McVille.
Fucking Brock Purdy.
Right. Now,
oh boy, here we go.
NFC East. I think only like one of us has got one right.
It's going to be Eagles. I think it's going to be Eagles, Giants, Cowboys, Commanders.
The Eagles will be in second place by like 1 or 2 losses. So I have Giants 1, Eagles 2, Commanders at 3, and Cowboys last. And
give me the Eagles first, Giants second, Washington third, Cowboys last.
Elite predicted that the Philadelphia Eagles would win their division, followed by New York, followed by the Cowboys, followed by the DC. And then I predicted that New York, I remember this because I'm like, oh, no teams won their division back to back in the NFC East, like, because you guys are weird. I've predicted New York. I sensed in the Force with my Quasad Haderach powers that of a Tommy DeVito. I predicted New York. And then I said Philadelphia, then Washington, then the Cowboys, and then they would fire Mike McCarthy. You guys remember saying that?
Dude, none of us got the
one more
fucking
year.
Cowboys, man.
So they're gonna let McCarthy and Dak walk next year. Watch.
And they predicted Philadelphia, followed by New York, Cowboys, and then the Commanders.
We should get points because at least Philadelphia went I don't know, further than the Cowboys.
I think we both got eliminated at the same time.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I'm still amazed they had 12 wins. I'm still
fluke wins too.
Yeah, I don't know how the Cowboys pulled that off. Well, I do know. It's Micah Parsons. No, not Kenny.
Or
should be like
TK. The Ravens. Give me the Ravens at 1. Because I know my number 2. I'm going to have the Steelers at 2. I think the Steelers are going to go like 10-7 or maybe 11-6. I think Cincinnati's going to struggle at 3 because I know who my 4 is. I think Cincinnati's going to struggle because they need somebody to replace Jesse Bates. And then I have the Browns going last.
So give me the Steelers first, Bengals second, Ravens third, Browns last.
The Cleveland Browns first.
What?
I think the Steelers are going to be second. The Ravens are going to be third. And I think the Bengals are going to seriously fall off because they started to have problems the end of last year.
Here it is. AFC North. Anthony predicted the Steelers would take it, followed by the Bengals, then the Ravens, then the Brownies.
Wow.
So you were one off. I'm sorry. No, you weren't. I'm sorry.
He was way off.
Wow, I'm way off. I wasn't even close.
I predicted the Ravens were going to take it, followed by the Steelers.
You were right. You were right.
Cincinnati, followed by the Brownies.
You were almost perfect.
Yeah. Elite.
Hey, you're almost
the
perfect.
Browns were going to take it, followed by Pittsburgh, followed by the Ravens, and then Joe Burrow would be last.
It was a tough year for AFC North.
Yeah, this is until Joe Burrow got hurt. Like all 3 of them were in the pick. Almost the whole division was in the picture.
The whole division were in the picture, and then Joe Burrow got hurt. That took them off.
You do. The thing is too is that I think that the division that won it, AFC, well, the Ravens, they ended up with one more win than the Steelers, and the Steelers ended up 9-8, and they just ended up 10-9 or whatever, 10-8 or whatever the hell it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like it was such a weird, like nobody ran away with that division.
Yeah.
There was not. Nobody had a 12-14 win season.
Garoppolo's the only one that had the helmet off. That's symbolic. Somehow that's symbolic.
Because he just signed. He had just signed too. So like this was a fan
edited picture.
And he dates porn stars. He needs to keep his good looks.
Is he even still there? Did they release him or?
No, he's still on the roster. All right. Elite got this one right.
Kansas City's going to win the division. And then I think it's going to be the Broncos. I think the Chargers, Raiders.
So give me the Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders.
You know, it's my team. Ride or die. Give me the Chargers at 1. Kansas City at 2. Broncos 3. Raiders last. Well, I predicted Kansas City was going to win. Followed by the Broncos, let's ride. Then the Raiders, and then he did get this one right, followed by the Chargers. Then we go to Mr. Anthony.
Wow.
He
predicted that he was with Broncos Country. He predicted that Denver would take the division, followed by Kansas City, then the Chargers, and then that the Las Vegas Raiders would be last.
Sorry, bro.
Then me, Mr. Delusional, who had Chip Kelly,
Delusional,
had the LA taking it, followed by Kansas City, then Denver, then the Raiders. Also, before we do a wrap up of the season, we did predict that Aaron Donald was going to retire before the season started.
He did not retire.
And he did not retire because remember he changed it to his Twitter bio was like former NFL player or like.
Yeah. Do you think he retires this year?
I have no idea.
Aaron Donald. I'd bet on it.
That would free up a shitload of money for them, right?
Retires this year.
That's crazy.
So
I mean, all in all, the season went okay.
Yeah. Talk about your season's retrospective.
Oh, the fucking collapsed. I hated it. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, you guys were like.
I mean, I'm sick of the Chiefs.
You guys pulled a Big Ben Steelers. You guys went undefeated for like 13 games.
Big ass truck backing up. But what I want is a rematch against the Chiefs Super Bowl. Hopefully. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna go to the Super Bowl. I'm like low hopes, but we'll see. If we ever go back in the years coming. I like that.
So what I've come to believe, and I'm going to put this on tape, it's out there. I really, really honestly believe the more I watch this, I think those big games are kind of rigged. When you have a statistic showing like the Kansas City Chiefs in 2 years of playoffs have never had a frigging goddamn holding called against them, and you're like literally watching the game, it's like I think the NFL had their own agenda and wanted the Swifties to win that championship because, in all honesty, that came down to the last minute and a half. It feels like almost like watching the Patriots again. It's like these guys, you know what I'm saying? It's like Jesus Christ, they lost that whole goddamn game. So you telling me?
Yeah, they lost the whole game. Yeah.
The first half they couldn't even score. All of a sudden they come out at halftime and put up 40 points. You know what I'm saying? It's like what the flip happened, and it's like I feel like it almost felt like the Atlanta New England Super Bowl again.
Yeah. Can we?
It just was like disappointing. I was very disappointed with the Super Bowl.
And
playoffs were great.
The NFL is starting to become the NBA, where like you can lead a team, like your team can be up at 20 by half, and then as long as like your team has a good quarter, like you have a chance to win. And that literally happened last night. Clippers were playing the Timberwolves. Clippers were up by 20, and then Kawhi got like an injury, and he's like, "Oh, we're up by 20. I'm just gonna put on my street clothes." And Timberwolves came back and won the game. But I think this is why, like, I don't get like, why is this happening? Like, this happened with Detroit. Like, we're all like they had to do, like they had the game. Like here's the game. Here's Detroit. It was literally in their hand.
Yeah.
Like, and then when Dan Campbell was like, "Oh, they're gonna go for a fourth down," I'm like, "This isn't the regular season. This is the playoffs, Dan Campbell. What are you doing? Just kick a field goal. Just put points on the board." And then the same thing would happen with for Shanahan, and you have Christian McCaffrey. You had the true MVP. You had Offensive Player of the Year. Run the damn ball. And like again, I think not Stefanski. I also think he should be fired, but I think Shanahan should be fired.
Oh, I hate the Shanahans. Hate them, despise them. The whole family, fuck them all.
Yeah, even Shannon Sharp called them out. He's like, I've known Kyle since he was 12 years old. I think it's time for him to go. Not personal. I just think he should go because you're literally having Atlanta, and then when they played Kansas City in the Super Bowl the first time, Kansas City came back, and then now you have it happen again. And then you put all your blame, he put all his blame on their defensive coordinator when they had a top 3 defense.
And the best part is
the thing is
they're blaming on not knowing the overtime rules too. They're also blaming on that.
Well, it's corny as shit. Like I sit there and say, and again, I'm an old head. I'm an old guy. So when that happened in Kansas, when that happened in Atlanta, you were up by 32 flipping points. Why were you passing the ball? You were up against the Kansas City Chiefs. You know that you cannot put a ball in Patrick Mahomes' hand. He only needs 42 seconds to score, to go 80 yards. You need to run the damn ball. These guys are like these younger guys, these younger coaches think, oh, we're going to recreate football and change it and do it. Sometimes shit works for a reason. You know what I'm saying? You had the lead, you run the ball. That's simple. You eat clock. It's all about time management at that point, and I agree. I think, but they're never going to fire him when he's having these seasons where he's winning like 13 games. They're not going to fire him. You know what I'm saying? But I guarantee you, the first year that he has an off year, he's gone. But that's my one takeaway: is I'm done with the Chiefs. I'm just done with the Chiefs. It's kind of turning into the Patriots. It's getting boring. Yeah, but other than that,
Anthony, can we talk about your season? Anything else to add?
Not really, honestly. Let's get on with the new one.
So I'll show you your season. Your season went like this: you're climbing the hill, climbing the hill, climbing the hill. You plateaued. Then you fell off
plateau. It was just like
you fell off the cliff.
Down.
You were like that little hiker on The Price is Right.
It wasn't even like a. I don't know, but it was bad. So I don't want to talk about that.
Anthony Sirianni on the hot seat?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna look through the old text where you're gonna say fire him.
Because
what they say at
one point, but I listened to the Philadelphia radio shows. I know what they told them, so it's like I know the changes that are coming. It just already feels like a different team, like because going into like last season, the one thing that irritated me was the running back, right? And it just didn't feel like we had a complete team. And then we lost our assistant head coaches. These new ones, they're good, but they're not great. They're better than the ones we had before, hands down. And they told Sirianni, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't be doing that shit. And they cleared up everything with the locker room. And then once AJ, so I don't know if you heard about this, AJ called into the radio. And my dad was listening to it, like, while it happened, because he called me. He was like, AJ called in. And basically, AJ went off on the false rumors of him saying that he wanted to be traded, that he loves Philly, and he doesn't plan on leaving. So after I heard that, I'm like, okay. And then Howie starts cooking. So it's like, I think with this team, I don't think Sirianni will be in a hot seat. Now, if Sirianni has like 3 more bad seasons, maybe 3, maybe 2, the least, then yes. But I don't think Howie's going to. The fans want him gone. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think Howie's going to do it. I think Howie's, as not as mad as the Eagle fans are.
How'd the boys around the ale house take it?
The Barkley or the Sirianni?
Just like in general, like what was the vibe at the ale house like the last half of the season? Were they kind of
that's a great question. That is actually a really great question. Going into the season, you couldn't even get a seat. In fact, there was people that were mad at management for not having enough seats because we had so many bandwagons coming into the ale house, right? So many people bringing their friends. By the time we were like in our 3rd losing game, it was like completely empty. Can you hear me, Brunner? Okay, yeah, I think. Yeah, it's actually insane. It's actually insane. So the vibe did change, and then the playoffs. Again, like it wasn't even as packed. When we lost on Monday, not on Monday. Yeah, it was on Monday. When we lost on the Monday night playoff game, it was like it felt like a week 8 regular season game, like no one really being there. It didn't even have like a big playoff feel to it in the L House. Even the L House was mentally defeated. But yeah, we're hopefully it'll be good in next year. We always hope, right?
Yeah, well, that's the rule. But you also don't want to start sounding like Cowboys fans either,
No, they're fucking. They have made 0 free agency moves, which is insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, goofy. Maybe they can do something big in the draft. Who knows?
Hopefully not. But yeah, that's my prediction. I mean, that's my not prediction, my thoughts there.
All right, Elite. Will Russ fix your Steelers issue?
So it's kind of funny you say that. When me and Anthony were talking right before you got on, you can't go wrong for the amount of money you're paying them. Steelers are only on the hook for $1.2 million. Statistically, this is going to sound friggin' crazy because it even sounds crazy me saying it. He was a top 10 quarterback in the league last year.
Right.
Okay. The year before, every year since he's been in the league, he's thrown at least 25 touchdowns, except for 2 years ago, his first year in Denver. This is so embarrassing. The Pittsburgh Steelers have not thrown for 25 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons combined. So if he could even do that, just throw 25 touchdowns like he does every year, I think it'll be improvement. I'm a little disappointed that we let Johnson go. We just traded Johnson for Jackson. Now, granted, we got a great cornerback, but Johnson was pretty reliable. Nice little offset from Pickens, George Pickens. So I don't know. I wish him well. If he starts any of that crazy shit that he was doing in Denver, in Pittsburgh, that shit's not going to fly.
Give him his own.
And somebody will put him So he can let's ride and just keep his mouth shut and just do his thing. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But we needed something, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. So,
and Brunner, how do you feel about Harbaugh?
I feel good. I'm excited. He was my top 2, also, or top 3, because it was like it was Harbaugh. For a while, it was Belichick, but then it was Harbaugh, Vrabel, Belichick. Again, I still don't know why Vrabel doesn't have a job at this point. Because Vrabel's a good coach, but going into the season, again, we just had so many injuries. Mike Williams going down week 3, and then like Keenan was like playing hurt for a while, and then Bosa went down, and then Johnston like just sucked, and then I was like, oh, and then I'm not gonna even say his name. I'm just gonna say Chip Kelly 2.0. We had Chip Kelly 2.0, and like he started like really crumbling at the end of the season, and I love that the reporters called him out on it. Like, and then you saw what happened, like when Herbert, like when they decided to bench him for his finger, what happens immediately? Raiders put up 60 points. And then literally the reporter called them out, the coach on it. He's like, because he said, Chip Kelly 2.0 said like, oh, it's the NFL, things like this happen. And the reporter's like, no, this is the first time something like this, the way, like how much yards you gave up and how many points you gave up, this is the first time it's ever happened in the NFL. So this doesn't happen. Like, he was just a terrible coach, and we saw that Herbert carried the team. I really, really hope either Arizona takes a quarterback or they trade back so another team can take a quarterback, because I want Marvin Harrison Jr. I want him. I said the same thing about Addison, and look at Addison now. He went off because we passed on Addison. We passed on Zay Flowers. Nobody predicted Puka Nacua. And then I saw all these Raider fans because RGM got a job at the Raiders. And then they're like, this is it. This is our, we're going to get a quarterback now because this GM picked Herbert. And then I'm like, and like, they're also the same team that shits on Herbert. So they're praising the guy who picked the guy who they shit on. So Raiders fans are delusional. But I commented
you just realized that?
Yeah, but I commented on them praising. I'm like, oh yeah, the guy who passed up, Addison and Zay Flowers. Yeah, he's a good GM, all right. But
just remember, last time Harbaugh was in the league, he took Colin Kaepernick to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He took like, so, like players love.
I think you're all right.
Yeah, the players like love Harbaugh. Like a lot of people love Harbaugh. He's had a lot of success. And he wants to. He's passionate about bringing one. Putting a Lombardi in his house. So
he was the reason he left was he went to Super Bowl next year. They had some sort of issue. It's when Kaepernick started his knee thing, and so I forget who the backup quarterback was, but it doesn't matter. And he went 8-8 that year.
Yeah,
and then the 49ers, they wouldn't re-sign him. His contract was up, so he said, "Screw it."
They hired Shanahan, and then they thought they were going to get Kirk Cousins. Yeah, and I remember
Michigan paid him. Dude, they backed the truck up. They paid like $110 million for him to come coach college.
Yeah, I think Harbaugh left, and then Chip Kelly went to the 49ers.
Yeah.
So
that's what you interpret.
And that. So that's basically why he left. It was like, there's no reason. Like, Harbaugh should have never had to go back to college. He was a good coach. He's a hard ass coach.
Yeah,
but he's the type of coach I like. He's my kind of coach. You know what I'm saying? He's got a guy that's got to get in your face and pull you by the freaking goddamn fucking face mask and tell you what's what.
Right.
But you need that sometimes.
He's a hard ass, but he loves the game. He was a quarterback for us for San Diego, so he loves the franchise. He's familiar with the franchise. Again, I'm super excited. I want the team to start. And then we got their defense coordinator from Michigan, Jesse Minter. Hopefully we do not cut Joey Bosa, because I said I think Harbaugh's going to want to keep Bosa because he's the one who, who developed Aiden Hutchinson, and then now he's going off, so maybe you can do the same thing with Bosa. And we got Chip Kelly 2.0, but without the smoothies. If you know, you know. Am I right?
Right. He was.
Okay,
I mean, he
terrible.
was. And the thing about Harbaugh was he was a Pro Bowl quarterback. I mean, he's in the Ring of Honor as a player for the Colts. He was a good player.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But
he missed 1 year, a Super Bowl by 1 year.
also, we're going to wrap it up, but I'm predicting it now because Elite is here, and I want it. This is the first time I officially said it on air, but no, it's nothing. But I predict Ravens are going to play Chargers Thanksgiving because we are scheduled to play the Ravens.
Harbaugh.
Why not have it on Thanksgiving?
Yeah,
that'd be good.
That'd be a good one, NFL game. That'd be a good scheduling game. Yeah,
But that would have to be the Sunday night one or the Thursday night one.
It's going to be, well, if it's on Thanksgiving, it'll be Thursday. You knucklehead. It's Thanksgiving.
Well, it would have to be on the night one because the Cowboys always play the afternoon one.
Yeah.
And then Detroit always plays
Speaking
morning.
of which, last point, because you brought that up. Do you think it's about time we move away from Detroit and Dallas having a guaranteed Thanksgiving Day game?
Dallas, yes.
I mean, Detroit for years until the last few years was shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I think it should be like they do in basketball. So they take Christmas Day games and they usually that's when they do their premier matchups.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
I think they should do the same thing.
Like the NFL equivalent would be how when Kansas City played the Eagles, like they would put that game for Thanksgiving.
Right.
But I think it should rotate every like division rival. So this year it'll be like Steelers versus Ravens, and the next year it'll be Packers versus Vikings or Packers versus Bears. And next year will be Philadelphia versus Dallas. I think it should be.
I want Dallas in Thanksgiving. Give it to me.
Not Detroit.
But I always thought that was just kind of, is what it is. So, well, on that note.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Elite, for coming. Always. Thank you, Brunner.
Yes.
Is there anything else you guys want to say?
No, just good to see you. Good to have you back.
It's good to be here. Been busy. Sorry for the absence, everybody.
Yeah.
It's been
we've been getting complaints.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. The complaint department's getting filled up. The complaint box.
I think another like comedian thing happened where like they were asking like I don't know I don't know if that was a dream or like
the
another
comedian. The comedian was asking about me.
No,
he knows
like
where I'm at.
Like
hit
his
me
friend.
up.
With the election coming up, I wouldn't mind November 8th comedian returns episode.
Oh shit! I don't know, man. That may be rough.
Election special comedian returns. Anyway,
we have election special news.
No, thank you. Yeah, thank you. It's good to have Elite back, and I hope everyone has good ones.
All right,
Like,
take it easy, everyone.
Yes,
sir.